Well, we're laying out our wingtip today, and we'll get it laid out hopefully and clecoed in place, and then we'll be ready to hang this wing up. So anyway, I've already laid out my rivet line along the top, and this is our piece that goes down underneath. This is, I don't remember what the number is, this is a 7V8-2. So the way it's going to fit is right underneath here, and it's going to follow this contour along, so we're going to crimp it now. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom one, except it's got a reverse angle, so it's not nearly this sharp. So this is probably the hardest one to fit out of the two, and it's not that big a deal. So, excuse me, the first thing we're going to do is lay out our rivet line. This is a pitch 50 rivet along here, or rivet line, and they'll be A4s, of course. And I've already double checked this, so it's right. We're just going to go ahead and lay it out. So this point and this point are fixed. This is our rear spar, so we want to intersect that, and this is our front spar. This is the tip extension is what this is, so we want to be sure and get our rivet lines right in place on those. So those are fixed in stone. I think the way they show it in the manual is they just use a rivet fan to lay it out. It doesn't really lay across that curve. So I'm just going to lay it out by hand. So we're going to do a pitch 50 along between those two, and then I think there's two more rivets that go down here. But we want this laid out first so that we know where our where we can put our crimps on this. 20. So I think those are where those will go. We'll verify that, but make sure we've got edge distance. And then we're just going to lay out our pitch 50. Except we didn't lay out a pitch 50 on those, we laid out a pitch 40. And this pen's not very good. Let's switch to a medium Sharpie here. I consider this a fine point, but that looks better. And then we'll verify this point on the very end to make sure we've got edge distance on there. So there's our layouts right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drill my first hole in the spar, and then I'm going to lay out my crimps as we run this curve around. That way we make sure we're pretty much centered up. Let's see, where do we put our center punch here? And I set the camera in this position so you can have an idea of how this curves around once we do it. And nothing crimps around, or nothing actually locks that in place. So. There's our first hole with our edge distance, just right. Now when we go back and fit these up, we'll we'll radius the corners, smooth them all up, and make them the way they're supposed to be here. There we go. Now we can start laying our rivet positions out. We'll have to crimp both sides of this as we work it around. We won't get too carried away on the bottom point, but we'll have to crimp that too to match the contours that if we just slowly start to work this. Now you probably can't see it from that angle, but as we crimp these, it creates a dish this way too. That's why we're crimping the other side to bring it back down again. And see, as we crimp them, you can kind of see that move. And it's a standard crimp we've done all the way along. Just brings it back into line a little bit better. And you just continue to work it all the way around. see our edge distance is going to be a little bit close here, so we'll move that back up probably a couple of millimeters to give us our edge distance on everything. And we're a little tight with our crimps here, so we'll flatten that out just a little bit. Oh there, pup. What are you doing? Now normally you should lay out your edge distance on this piece here, but since I know where my rivet line is, I know about where we're lining up here, I don't really feel that's necessary in this particular instance. So what we will do is we'll cleco that in place. And we'll final massage this when we do the final fit on it, but if we get it awful close right here. We're going to run with that one right there. I think. crowding the end of for our edge spacing, so we're going to bring it back up so we've got our 10 millimeters from the end. And we'll adjust our crimps underneath here just a little bit to make our wing contour match all the way down. So we will bring this into line a little bit more here. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll adjust that a little bit as we look at it from the other side. But there's the wingtip support on the top in place. So I can bring you down here just handheld and show you the end of that and show you what it looks like. And then we'll go ahead and flip the wing over. We'll do the same thing on the other edge. And then we'll adjust our angles to fit our wing skin on. So there's the way it looks from the underside. I know lighting's a little bit bad down here, worse than normal, but it doesn't look like we're in focus here. Are we going to come into focus? Yeah, that gives you a little bit of an idea anyway, so. All right, so there's the way we look. I'm going to go let the dog in, flip the wing over, and we'll set up to do the other side here. Okay, now hopefully we're in focus here, and hopefully that gives you a little bit of a picture of what's going on. We're looking at the bottom side of the ring. Now here, if you look at where our clecos are, I don't know if you can see that, and hopefully we're in focus that you can see. We got good edge distance there, lined up real nice. I'm real happy with those. We've got our top, we've got to raise this up a little bit. Now I've already laid out our pitch 50 rivet line along here. We're going to drill the cleco from here to here. And I'm mainly concerned with bringing this up. So like I say, we've marked our layout lines here, and I know it may not be the best view of things, but it's the best one I think I can give you to kind of give you an indication of what we want to do with this. We need to bring it up to match our skin. So we're just going to add some crimps along here until we bring it up, just like we would leveling a rib, or like we did here along the top of the wing. So we're just going to start running our crimps up here. We may have to bring the uncleco it and bring this edge back out again, but to start off, let's bring it up to the and yeah, we are going to have to bring it out a little bit, because as we crimp it up to match our wing contour, why we're sucking it in a little bit. So we'll have to bring it back out, but let's see if we can't get it up here where it's going to be close to where we want it to be. And we're getting pretty close there. That looks actually pretty good right there. Oh, come on out of there. That may actually look pretty good by the time we get it clecoed in place. There. That one there. And now I think as we cleco it up, we may have to bring it up just a little bit more, but I think that puts us about where we want to be. So let's kind of start here in the middle because we've got such a big arch. Okay, now we'll have, I think, 2 coming into the back end of on the trailing edge. That actually looks pretty good. So then if we start looking at these angles, those look pretty good there. I think we're looking pretty good along there. So, what I think I will do, let's see, we have to cut a piece of L angle for here, and I have to trim this trailing edge back here. I guess that's the thing to do next. Actually, we can lay out our trailing edge here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'll lay out my last 2 rivets here, and then we'll cut a piece of L angle to go in here on the end of the spar extension and get that laid out, and then we can go ahead and we've got to trim this edge here, and then we'll go ahead and bring it back, and we'll see if we can't get this wing skin on here.